And welcome today to our stage here at the General Conference booth area in the Global Mission Session. Today we're going to be talking to you about youth ministries teaming up with Compassion Services International, and what a win it has been globally. This is a brand new team that we're putting together. This is a brand new project and vision that we have to bring compassion services in youth and see it come together to be an impact globally. Today we are joined by a very special team. This is missionary Buckland. This is missionary Matthew Buckland from Czech Republic, and he's got something he's going to be sharing about. And then we have, through the magic of Zoom, joining us online on Zoom, Jeremy Dowdy, who is part of the Compassion Services International Humanitarian Director and representative for the Serve Project for AYC. And then we have our missionary Chris Richardson, who is a missionary to Madagascar and many other area countries there. And finally, at the far end is Barrick Willoughby, who is the CSI rep for Serve Project with AYC. And we're so delighted to have you joining us today for this special session here at General Conference in the city of Indianapolis, live coming to you from the booth area. First of all, I'm starting to my left with our missionary brother Buckland, Matthew Buckland. He's going to tell you about the AYC part that it served, the Serve Project in the Czech Republic. It was an incredible story, and I want him to share it with you.
Thank you, Brother Hadabal. It was such an honor to team up with CSI and the General Youth Division to try to make an impact in the Czech Republic. For those that don't know the geography, the Czech Republic is right in the center of Europe, and from the front door of our church, we can be at the Ukrainian border within about 6 hours driving, so it's not that far. Since the beginning of this war, we've had an inundation of refugees come from Ukraine, and because of that, all of those refugees coming in, it's created quite a lot of need within that community. When we scheduled AYC to come, we were able to partner up with CSI and see what can we do to make an impact and help all of these people who have really been displaced and had to leave their homes, leave everything that they know, and try to start a new life in a new place. So we teamed up with CSI, and it really became a beautiful marriage. What we were able to do is we were able to connect with the local refugee coordinators, and we were able to find out what do the people really need. We don't want to just provide them with things that we think they need, but we want to really connect with them and find out what they need. So by doing that, we were able to combine the resources and the expertise of CSI and their humanitarian aid with the local knowledge of the missionary. And when we combined those things together, we had AYC, the General Youth Division, come, and we were able to use all of the resources and manpower of AYC to make that project happen. What we were able to do is we were able to provide a lot of goods and things that the refugees needed. We were able to take the AYC students and actually provide on location food, microwaves, vacuum sweepers, blenders, things like that to actual refugees in the city and make an impact. But it isn't just a one-day impact that we were able to make, but everybody who received something from CSI, from the General Youth Division, we were able to connect them and say, not only are we trying to help you with this one-day project or just these physical goods, but we were able to connect them and say, hey, there's a church here to help with your spiritual needs as well. By the time our Serve Day was finished and completed, we were informed that the group text that all the Ukrainian refugees were in, they were blowing up saying, we can't believe that people were willing to come from all over the world. This humanitarian organization was able to join with us, and they're actually doing something to help us. They listen to what we need, and they're providing those things for us. So to me, that marriage of the youth division with CSI and the local missionary, when we combined all those resources together, we were able to make an impact beyond just a one single day thing, but it's something that will continue to have influence in the months and years to come.
And Jeremy's going to join us now on the Zoom. And Jeremy, can you share from the viewpoint of Compassion Services International how this was a win? And by the way, Jeremy serves as our humanitarian aid director for Compassion Services International.
Yeah, what a great win. Just from the very beginning, organization with the youth division and with Brother Matt Buckland, just the amount of cooperation and collaboration that went on. It was actually exciting to even get there because of the excitement and just the heart for wanting to do a project like this. There were several things, a lot of wins. A couple of things that I would highlight that were wins was, number one is that when we were able to partner with the local missionary and the local pastor there in Prague, it was a connection to local ministry. You're seeing real people, and these people had connections to people in the church who maybe had not been to church but know people, and there have been trying to be some kind of connection made as well. So you're seeing the local church get involved, the local ministry, and those relationships being strengthened, and opportunities and avenues for the gospel to be revealed to these people. Also, once I arrived, AYC was already there, a group of, I think, 35 or 40 young people from across the United States. And so you had a team on the ground to start helping put all of these things together. And what's important about that is, and they were very excited to do it. It was so refreshing to be a part of that. But at CSI, we have volunteers and people who are ready to go. We say at CSI, we move at the speed of your compassion. And so, as Brother Hadabal has done so well with traveling the world and disaster relief, I was able to go with him last year to Poland. We dropped at the drop of a hat. We went. So many of our volunteers are able to go immediately. And one win about that is that there was already a team on the ground. We didn't have to tap into those resources and use those people's time, talent, and treasure to go. But we were able to have a new field and a new lot of volunteers to help us. And so that was real exciting to have. But even more so, a win is the future volunteers and ministries that can be born from that group. We were able to share the vision and the mission of CSI with this group. They were so receptive to it and so excited about it. But these young people are going to go back, whether they're in college or starting college, and they're going to become young professionals or have some type of ministry in their local church or maybe nation or worldwide, who knows. And so we were able to have conversations and talk about what CSI is and how they could be involved if they're going to school to be a nurse or going to school to be a teacher or being an apprentice for an electrician, that all the needs that we've been able and needed over the years for those kinds of trades to help build churches or work in refugee camps or whatever it has been. And lastly, I would think that another big win that I saw was taking that vision and mission back to their families here in the States, back to their local church, and back to their friends to give exposure to what CSI and the mission and the vision of CSI, and to get involved, that they also can volunteer, they also can give. If you can't go, you can give, and that's a connection to thousands of people, and that connection also of seeing what that missionary Matt Buckland. It was just, I can't brag enough on Brother Matt Buckland and how fantastic and organized it was. But for that group to see how the missionary is involved with the heart of the country and is concerned about the people that are there. And it was just, to me, it was one of the most exciting things I've been able to be a part of. And I was so glad that Brother Buckland and the youth division was able and wanted to partner with us. It couldn't have gone, in my estimation and view, any better. It was wonderful.
Thank you so very much, Jeremy Dowdy, our amazing Director of Humanitarian Aid for Compassion Services International. I can tell you this, when there is a need, this is where we respond. And now we're going to our missionary from Madagascar, our very own Brother Chris Richardson. And we had a very unique thing that happened in Madagascar with AYC, Apostolic Youth Corps of the Youth Ministries of the United Pentecostal Church International. The team that went there had an amazing experience, and I want him to share with you what happened.
Well, thank you, Brother Hadabal, and I'll probably let Brother Barrick share some of the details about the whole soccer camp. But the beginning of this program, actually, we kind of piloted it last year in 2022 with Next Steps when they were in Madagascar. We were able to do this Greater Works soccer camp, or sports camp actually is what it goes by, because they could do any different sport that they want to do. But Sister Amber Martin had this vision to do this as a form of outreach. So we did it with Next Steps and tried it out and decided that it would be something that was really beneficial. So when CSI and Youth Ministries approached us about doing it again as the Serve project for the AYC Madagascar team, we jumped right on board because we had already been through it, we knew what it was about, and we were excited to be a part of it. Now, it's not the traditional way of doing ministry. And I'm very much a supporter of traditional ways because I believe that that's how you get your lasting results. But this is a new way, and I'm all for trying new things and doing new ways because realistically, the traditional way, there's going to be people you never reach. There'll be people you never touch. There'll be people that will not be impacted by just church as usual. So if we can do some other form of outreach and get people involved and make connections with the church in a way that's fun and exciting and getting young people and kids involved in sports, then I'm all for that. So we had this program where we did these young people from North America that most of them really didn't know much about soccer, but having them come in there and be a part of a camp that touched 90 kids, it was phenomenal. And you know, I believe that the impact that it made on Madagascar, it's kind of for our young people to see my hobby can actually be something that can be a ministry as well. And many of the AYCers also saw that. So I'm excited about how this program's going to go forward. And I hope I can expand it into our other Indian Ocean islands as well. So we're looking forward and expecting great reports of what the Lord's going to do through these sports camps and anything else like that that's new to reach young people with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Awesome. And we had with us on that trip Reverend Barrick Willoughby, that is an incredible young man, and what he came to do is to be part of the CSI part in the project down there in Madagascar. Tell us a little bit about that. How did really that impact the church, the community? What was the reaction that they had when they met the CSI team? And give us a little bit of your take since you were also there, boot on the ground with CSI.
Thanks, Brother Hadabal. It was an amazing experience, to say the least. When we got there, like Brother Richardson said, there wasn't a huge amount of AYCers that knew how to play soccer, that was familiar. But with being able to partner with CSI, it gave them the opportunity. We brought over jerseys. We had a couple suitcases full of dozens of soccer balls, and getting the preparation, getting them all basically the night before. There was such an excitement in the room. Having the young people that could partner. They said, hey, I have no idea how to play soccer. I didn't play soccer at school. A couple of them may have had a little bit of experience. But it was such an awesome opportunity that once they got to the field, they were given a team. They were said, hey, this is your group of young kids. This is your group of young people that are who you get to cheer with. So even with difficulty with language, we partnered with a lot of local Bible students. And CSI was able to impact in such a great way that was beyond what you may have expected. I had so many AYCers that I've seen here at conference that have come by the booth and gone by CSI's booth and been excited on how they can continue. They said, hey, since I've been back in the States, I want to learn how to take this to my church, how to apply it locally, how to reach those that may have not been reached before. So it's something as simple as that. We also had an opportunity to provide a meal. So we had food for the kids. So after we were done playing in the morning, we had some drills. They kind of got warmed up. We had a nice meal. And that was all partnering with the local church. Also with the local, it's homemade food. It's the best kind you can ask Brother Richardson, his favorite. I got to try some. I'd love it. I'd eat it every day. And I see the smiles on these kids' faces as they're getting to dig into a hot meal. They're getting their jerseys. They were given the soccer ball after. The smiles on their faces, I can't even come to describe how excited they were. They had a little certificate that they got to take home. And seeing the faces of these kids, even days later when we have the youth conference that was going on in Madagascar, and you're at the altar and you're watching out upon thousands of faces, feeling God's presence, being in an atmosphere where they can come to know who Jesus is. And these AYCers are given the opportunity to step off the stage and pray these kids, pray the same kids through that they saw days before wearing the jerseys. And coming back years later, Amber was able to say, hey, I recognize these kids. These kids were here from the last camp. It's so exciting. It's so exciting to see that it's ongoing, that there's such an opportunity. And like Brother Richardson said, it's something that you wouldn't expect would be the best way, but in a lot of cases, soccer reaches the world and makes an impact. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Barrick, and all of this team. And I'm going to close out giving you a little bit of insight about what happened in the Dominican Republic with Youth on Missions, the team that was there with 50 young people. And we were able to do some humanitarian work and bring some supplies and food to some of the poorest parts of the country. And the kids going into those homes and dirt floors and bringing huge bags of rice and beans and supplies for them, the look on the faces of the people, the thanks that you could see that was so visible that you came here to help us. As we're walking out of some of those homes, I grabbed the young people and I said, listen, you didn't choose to be born in America, and they didn't get a choice to be born here. So to whom much is given, much is required. And those moments where they realize, you know what a blessing it is to live where we are, but we're blessed to be a blessing. And so taking those supplies in, and I want to thank you for supporting Compassion Services International. Thank you for standing behind young people that are going on these mission trips, because we're making a difference in countries and nations and cities and poor villages. There's a great tangible thing that we are able to show you where your dollars are making a difference. So from Compassion Services International, from Youth on Missions, and from Apostolic Youth Corps of the Youth Ministries, I can tell you, you are changing the world. You're making a great difference. And today you heard from Czech Republic, you heard all the way from Madagascar, and you heard that what you're doing even in Dominican Republic has been such an impact and such a blessing. I can tell you that from all of us that serve on Compassion Services, I thank God for Brother Harold Linder, who is our president. I thank God for Sister Celinda Nickel, who is our coordinator. As you heard from Barrick Willoughby, he is over our compassion or our humanitarian. We have the educational wing. We also have the wing that's the medical mission, and I serve as the director for the disaster relief. And as you heard, I was in the country of Ukraine with brother that was with us there in Ukraine. I'm so sorry, Brother Jeremy Dowdy, that was with us in Ukraine, and we had an amazing impact that we did there. Again, from Cooper City, from wherever you're at, from what city that you come from, wherever you're at, you can affect the world and you can make an impact on the world, teaming up with Compassion Services International and helping these young people get on these missions trips, because when we get there, those serve days is where we put in their hands the capability, the ability to be able to touch lives and to change lives, because it's a team effort. You have to go by going, but you go by sending, you go by giving, you go by praying, and you go by supporting those that are on the front lines. There's many ways for you to make an impact. There's many ways for you to go. And so thank you for going. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sending. Thank you for praying. And thank you for giving, because together we are making a difference, and together we are changing the world. From all of us here at the General Conference in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the booth area at the missions area here from the broadcast. We say, God bless you. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you've enjoyed this little window of opportunity to see what you're giving and what Compassion Services International is doing globally, along with AYC and Youth on Missions. Thank you.